Welcome to GRAAM Vocal, Voice of CSR Leader. In this episode, we are having conversation with Mr. Nixon Joseph, the President and Chief Operating Officer of SBI Foundation, India.
As a person interacting with numerous not-for-profit or so-called civil society organizations, what are the strengths you have found in them? And also, I would like to continue this question. What is your expectation to be a strong collaborator with corporate foundation like yours that NGOs should possess?
See, after my interaction with various NGOs, civil society organizations, some of the issues which I have listed are: one, the leadership issue is there. Most of the NGOs are run by the founders, and therefore decision making is vested in one or two people. This has to change if the NGO has to work professionally. The board should be from various sectors, leaders from various sectors, etc. So the decisions they take are professional. Secondly, as I told is, our NGOs have to adopt technology if they have to survive. Because now the world is living on data. Decisions are made on data. So unless we have proper technology adopted, we won't be able to satisfy the donors. And even in implementation, we have to see how far technology can help us. Fourthly, the capability building of NGOs is something which is a matter of concern. There are very good number of NGOs who are taking professionals, but then there are a lot many NGOs who should develop their capabilities to absorb funds from the foundation. And as years advance, as CSR has been made mandatory, the board of various corporates will be meticulously monitoring and following up what is happening with the CSR funds. And each of the rupees spent, they may require a very big bang on each rupee spent. It means our civil society organizations should come out with efficient programs and efficient delivery mechanisms. We have to go to a stage where we can reduce administrative expenses and be more efficient. So I find these are areas where NGOs have to review and improve. And whether foundation is doing something in this direction, I can tell that in various cases, we try to hold workshops for our NGOs with whom we have partnered so that we could build the capability. I'm not telling that we are doing it in a very big manner, but at least we are making a beginning to hold workshops for our partnering NGOs, to have discussions with them where we can, to some extent, improve the capabilities of the NGO workers of the NGO, and also try to change their perspectives, improve their accounting systems, improve their implementation systems, etc.
Yeah, it's good to know SBI Foundation is investing in building the capabilities of partner organizations, particularly not-for-profit organizations. But as you know, a lot of discussions are going on with respect to the amendment of Corporate Social Responsibility Act in India. How do you see the CSR being implemented in India without the participation of not-for-profit, particularly the societies and trust organizations in India? Do you lose anything without having them as CSR partners on the ground? Or how essential their participation is?
See, in India, NGOs, civil society organizations have been doing a yeoman job in contributing to development activities, in bridging the gaps where government has failed. NGOs have been doing, be it trust or societies, they have been doing a very good job. But now, as the CSR has become mandatory and the corporates have become accountable, it has been thought that we also require more accountability from the implementing agencies. That is why the suggestion that NGOs should move from the society and trust model to a more professional form, that is Section 8 company. So if all the NGOs who are now as societies and trusts convert themselves into Section 8 companies, they would become more transparent. That would attract more funds. And the government is not suggesting that NGOs should not be there. But what they suggest is that the implementing agency should be in the form of Section 8 companies, where they are more accountable, where they are more transparent. And this could also provide an opportunity to receive more funds, because the donors will find that here are organizations who are submitting their reports, data and all to the various authorities. Here is organizations who are more transparent, who are accountable, who are more professional. So instead of considering this as a challenge, I would tell that this is an opportunity for many NGOs to transform and then receive more funds.
So it was nice to hear from you. Thanks for sharing your opinion about the need and importance of non-profit organization as co-travelers in the journey of implementing CSR programs. What we need to do at the R is safeguarding or ensuring the ethos of service sector. In the meanwhile, improve the capabilities of non-profit organizations in terms of their managerial abilities. I think government should do something, invest in some program to build the capabilities of organizations. I think it's altogether another conversation we can have subsequently. Coming to the impact part of the corporate social responsibility programs, this unfortunately that this terminology is loosely used to denote outputs quite often. But however, SBI Foundation, I'm sure, has done many impactful implemented programs that has yielded impact on the ground. I want to know from you some impactful stories out of your CSR implementations, and more importantly, why corporates should invest in understanding or studying their impact.
See, when we do CSR activities, we have to think not only about the output, but also about the impact. That becomes important because, see, if we give training to some, like if we decide to train 100 persons with disability, we decide to train them in basic accounting or computerization or some such training if we decide to give to persons with disability. We can proudly tell we have trained 100 people. But what is the impact of this program? The persons with disability have been trained, and we can tell trained people are there. We can proudly flaunt it in our annual report and all. We have trained 100 people. But what is the impact that if they don't get employed, if it is not providing them livelihood opportunity, if they are not able to improve their life because of the training, then this has been a sheer waste. So we have to see that whatever projects which we implement is having a long-term benefit to the people or the community. So in our GRAAM Seva program, what we have done is utilizing the resources in the village and investing some money from the foundation side for basic infrastructure. We are trying to bring a change. We have a community information center in all these villages with computer, with Wi-Fi facility, with a TV, cable connection, etc. So that villagers are update about what is happening outside. We have also provided a photocopy center in these community information centers, so that villagers need not go to distant places to take even a Xerox copy. This community information center is having a list of all the government schemes so that villagers can avail benefit of these schemes. So the program is such that we are not only providing list of schemes, but we are also linking each village and villagers to these schemes so that they get benefit out of these schemes. Providing drinking water in these villages, it has been made that the villagers should contribute at least something to this so that they feel that we have ownership of all these activities, and we have also to be part of these activities. So when we exit the program, this will continue. So whatever changes we have brought there, like we have brought, conservation of water, all these things, in the long term, the impact created is that the agriculture productivity increases. Instead of one cropping, they can go for multi-cropping. The drinking water provided will improve the health of the village community. The livelihood programs which we have started, it will increase the level of income of the villagers, and in turn their lifestyle will change. The remedial education classes which we have provided will improve the educational learning abilities of the children. It will have its long-term effects. So all these are creating impacts in the villages. And suppose we take the Youth for India Fellowship Program. There also we insist that at the end of 13 months, whatever project you are doing, it should continue and it should create some impact. Like the story I told about the postgraduate in mechanical engineering, starting a social enterprise there. It is providing livelihood opportunity to 5 to 6 bamboo craftsmen, and that has in turn improved their living standards. So whatever project we not only be any foundation or NGO conceives, implements, it should have a impact perspective in mind. What is the long-term change we are going to make?
I'm glad to note that the priority of SBI Foundation is towards health and wellness of people in India. Many organizations have been affected post-pandemic or during the pandemic. So in our own study, we are finding that around 49% of the non-profit organizations are either at the verge of closure or almost closed. They are having severe funding issues, and some of the ongoing projects are hampered. It's not that corporate organizations are not affected by the pandemic, but it's important for all of us to take forward the mission of development. How do you see the role of corporates, how important it is, or how challenging it is to take forward the mission of development in the post-pandemic period or during the crisis like this?
Post-pandemic era, our focus will be mostly on health, because we have found that what the pandemic has exposed the inadequacies in our health system, and our health infrastructure has been overstretched. And pandemic has brought incredible socio-economic hardship on people, untold miseries. So our immediate response was to provide immediate relief to those affected by COVID. So we have provided almost 600,000 meals all over India. We have provided more than 60,000 PPE kits to critical hospitals in India. We have provided ventilators, more than 300 ventilators to hospitals all over India, providing masks, various other medical equipments we have been doing. As a long-term project, which we did was to improve the capability of healthcare workers, and we had launched a project called Project Eco, where we have trained almost 200,000 healthcare workers in issues related to COVID. We had got into an MOU with Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and supported the research activities to combat COVID. Consequently, we are having a prototype of a mobile diagnostic van and also a low-cost mechanical ventilator ready in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and it has been handed over to the Corporation of Bangalore. In the long term, we are tying up with various reputed agencies to supplement or support or improve the healthcare infrastructure of India.
Wonderful. So nice to know the focus of SBI Foundation is towards augmenting the health and health system of India. GRAAM is conducting an ongoing study to understand how this pandemic has impacted on the non-profit sector as well. We are finding some really shocking information that around 49% of NGOs are under the verge of closure, number one. And many ongoing projects are either stalled or completely withdrawn, and funding is completely affected on the ground. And some of the, of course, corporate organizations are also affected due to this pandemic, and some of them actually have done wonderfully despite all these challenges also. I'm saying in terms of their turnover, economical activities, etc. How important and challenging for corporates to continue the mission at this time of crisis like this? Should they completely take a wait and watch approach, or you find that this is the time actually all of us should come together and work more intensely?
This is a crisis which has affected India very badly. So as corporates, this is the right time for corporates to do more socially responsible activities so that they create a goodwill. This is an opportunity for corporates to demonstrate that they care for the society. This is the time for corporates to demonstrate that they are not only concerned about profit, but they are concerned about the well-being of all the stakeholders. So corporate social responsibility activities should continue during the pandemic, and also with a more vigor if funds situations allow. We all know that during the year ending 31/3/2021, profit of most corporates would be drastically reduced. And this is going to affect the funds available for CSR. So It's challenging both for the corporates as well as for the non-profit organizations. But then if we see in India, most of the corporates have opened their purses, opened their wallets for CSR activities. They have contributed a lot towards the fight against COVID. So socially responsible activities are taking place. Of course, when the economy goes down, corporates would not be able to set apart money for these activities in the way they could do earlier. But they have realized that this is the time they have to respond positively to this situation. And I am very happy to see that it is happening.
Thank you. You said it actually. This is the time to do more actually. The crisis is the time all of us should come together and try to see what maximum we can do in the service of humanity. So thank you so much, Mr. Nixon. It was wonderful talking to you. It was very enriching discussion. And I feel corporate social responsibility is not just a CSR. Now the corporate social responsibility to build a resurgent and resilient India. I'm sure many corporates.
Yes, I fully agree with you. See, when we tell that CSR funds may get reduced, etc., we are thinking only about the 2% of profit. Whereas corporate social responsibility encompasses a lot of activities. From the moment the company is incorporated, the way they treat the way they respond to various stakeholders, how they take care of the environment, how they are going to make their activities sustainable. All these are CSR. So all these after the post-pandemic will have to change to make it sustainable. And when they take efforts to make it sustainable, that is a socially responsible activity.
Thank you so much. I'm sure this thoughts of yours is going to help a lot of CSR community in our country, and we only wish together let us achieve more. Thank you so much for sparing your time interacting with GRAAM today. So we wish all the best. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, GRAAM, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.